Ancient technologies. This is essentially part two to the polygonal um, walls, where I just want to talk more about walls because there's different types of walls, not just the polygonal. This one technically is polygonal. There's some elements of polygonal shapes in here, but a lot of it is uniform. It's just a whole bunch of blocks, and a lot of the blocks are same size. So why are they the same size and some of them are not? Right? Why aren't they all the same size? If they can obviously make them all the same size, right? The reason for this, why a lot of them are the same size and some of them aren't, is because the way I look at it is a lot of these used to be kind of like obelisk shape. There used to be a big long, obelisk like stone, right, block, and then they cut it into smaller pieces. Into smaller pieces. Took this big long rectangle, basically this big obelisk like shape, and then cut it into small slabs, right, small blocks. And the way to do it faster, instead of cutting straight through, which would give you flat, flat finish, right, flat surfaces. What they did is, you'll see on here, is that they took, the way I like to describe it is, they cut down, chisel down, saw down, jet cut down, whatever you want to do. Especially if you're using a jet cutter, this would be the best method to conserve your cutting capabilities, right? Your water and your sand, and your compressed air, right? Is you'll cut like a couple inches down on the surface of the rock, right? So you'll cut the top. I just zoom in so you can kind of. Oops. Give me a second. I guess I can't zoom in. Well, anyway, never mind. But you get the idea, right? Cut the top, and let's say down 3 inches. Then flip the stone over to the other flat side. Then cut 3 inches down, flip it over, cut 3 inches down, flip it over. Now you could probably have this like on a lathe or something, some way to spin it. The idea is like you want to be able to rotate it, so you cut from the top, cut straight down from the top, spin, right, or rotate, I should say, cut again, rotate, cut again, rotate, cut again, right? Then once you're done doing that, then it's a matter of applying pressure onto that that cut area, and then the stone will break. Like a Twix. Twix are designed in a way that makes it easy to break apart, which is pretty much the same thing as this. So you're trying to make it easy to snap the the rocks apart, and this is why you get these beveled like edges on all these rocks, and then you do that multiple times. You have multiple blocks out of one big, obelisk shaped type block, and then you start stacking them, obviously, and build a wall. And this is why these look this way. To further prove this, concept, I would need to see the other side of these blocks, to be able to confirm that. But this is what it looks like to me, so that's what I'm talking about. Because right off the bat, that's what it looks like. It's because I'm just thinking that's the method I would use. I'm like, why these rocks look this way? And I'm thinking of what would be the fastest, easiest, laziest way to do this, especially if I need to build a wall real fast, like in a matter of a couple of days, because I need some type of shelter, some type of fortification, especially if there's a threat on its way. I need to build a fort, right? You gotta build some type of defense, and you don't want to take 10, 100 years to build protection, right? It makes no sense. You want to build things as quickly as possible. And since a lot of the time you're going to be spending is stacking these blocks in the first place, you don't want to take too much time cutting them in the first place. You want to make cutting them faster. That way you have more time for the stacking and the lining it up and making sure everything's nice and neat, and everything works. And then of course, and then that's the other thing you gotta remember. I always think that, like, they gotta do things quickly and not take forever, because food, right? They're gonna need water, food. We're humans. We're not, superhuman. We're not Superman, right? We're humans, so we have limits. So it doesn't make sense to do things the hard way, especially when we have brains that can come up with easy ways of doing things. And this is one of the easiest way to cut big blocks of stone into smaller pieces of stones, and then build something with it. Because this also gives the impression that they didn't carve these big blocks and then cut them into small pieces. This to me is like they recycled. They found big monolithic, like obelisk or something. It's like, all right, let's take this, obelisk that has no markings on it or anything like that. It's not like it has hieroglyphs or anything. It's just like these big giant slabs, pillars or just blocks of stone, and just cut them into smaller pieces, which one makes it easier to transport it because they're smaller, they're lighter, and then stack them together and make a big wall. Instead of trying to move the big slabs and then stack them, might as well cut them into small pieces and then stack them. So this is how I would do it if I'm trying to do it real quickly, which is why you got these walls that, don't look super pretty, other than those beveled edges, right? Those little flat, straight, flat surfaces. While everything else is still, rocky and broken, and that's why it will be like that. Let's see, more ancient walls. Obviously, this seems pretty simple. You're just taking a whole bunch of rocks and trying to, preferably trying to get a lot of rectangular, a lot of flat surface like rocks, and then try to fit as many as you can in there. See, a lot of these have similar colors, so I won't be surprised if these all came from pretty much the same slab of rock, and it was broken into small pieces and then stacked on top of each other to create that. Let me see. Those are a type of rock called lightning. Some type of lightning rock. Let's see. Okay, that's about it. See if I can find anything else, any other type of structure. So I could try to explain it. Like, that's the thing. A lot of these structures can be easily explained just with the method I was explaining in the first video. We would take a big slab of rock, break it into small pieces, and then put it back together like a jigsaw puzzle, and that's how you get these polygonal walls. They just seem to fit so perfectly, yet they're oddly shaped for no, technically no logical reason other than, well, this is the easiest way you can build a wall, is to take a big slab of rock, break into small pieces, and then put it back together like a jigsaw puzzle. Apparently there ain't that many other types of walls, like different type of structures for walls. All the walls seem to be pretty much the same. They're either uniform blocks stacked up like Legos, or they're polygonal because essentially they're a whole bunch of broken pieces put together. There is the hexagonal one, which we don't see. Even this wall right there, you see certain signs of symmetry. Like a lot of those rocks clearly look like they were from the same type of rock. And then they were just broken. The rock was broken and then stacked. So let's see, Machu Picchu, right? Not, I don't see much else here. Like right over there, see how uniform that is, like all the same shape. And of course they could also be cut from the same block, and they just took the extra time to cut it nice and uniformed, and then stacked them together like Legos, which is why they look like the way they look like. Where the edges are a lot, where the surface is a lot smoother. Over here is a glazed one. Looks glazed. Looks like they put some anti-graffiti. They put something on there, which I eventually figure out what it is that they put to make the surface shiny and whatnot. I think it's some form of resin. That's what I was thinking of. It was like some form of resin, like some type of tree sap mixed with some other stuff, maybe oils, and it creates a resin. So it makes basically makes the rocks waterproof, technically, among other things. It could be for the not just to make waterproof, right, for anti-erosion, but it could also potentially make it fireproof for other reasons, because a lot of these structures do sometimes look like they were on fire. So somebody was trying to burn these stone structures down at some point. Like clearly there was something massive happened. Somebody broke something. Out of broken structures. And then people build stuff on top of it. See, because this shows like, yeah, we couldn't move these rocks, so we just built on top of them. We just took advantage that they were already there, and we just put a whole bunch of rocks around. So you see this like lazy construction where you're not just lazy, but it's low tech, because it's like, well, we don't have the ability to make everything pretty and perfect and to move everything. So it's like we gotta find the easiest way of doing things with the least amount of technology, right, or the least amount of advancements or advanced capabilities, or just use a less refined method. So let's use a simpler, more basic method, and this is how you do it. You just use whatever is already there and build something around it. Use it as part of the construction instead of actually trying to move it out the way and put something a lot prettier. Because ultimately what you need is the fortification. What you need is the barrier, the usefulness of what it, having these rock walls do, which is to protect. That's what we use rocks for, right? These structures are shelter or protection from the environments or other people and whatnot. So, and then of course there's the whole earthquake thing. So it's always better to build stuff out of the strongest stuff you could build, especially when it comes to earthquakes. Building stone structures is logical against earthquakes, which is why they're using them instead of using wood. And then of course stone is a little bit more fire resistant than wood is, because wood is more flammable. So that's other reasons why you would use stone instead. there's other factors like potential for installation and whatnot. Um, see here, you see a lot of flat, smooth, uniform surfaces of stone, but then you see a lot of non-uniform stuff. It's like, it's obviously they use some recycled pieces, and it's like, all right, let's put this here, put that there, make use of it, and then they put much more uniform, where they put a little more effort into getting nice, like, shaped stuff and then build the stuff. Or, like I said before, in another video, the other video is they probably found a lot of these stones already, so they collected a lot of stones. So recycling, they collected a lot of these stones from other ruins, right, other locations, and then they brought it with them, and then they stacked it up and built these structures. And this is why you have all this mix match. This is why you have this Frankenstein type of construction. Even over here, where it's like, why didn't they just use a whole bunch of blocks that were the same shape and build something? Why is there like really, really big block over there to the left bottom, and then slightly medium small, and then very, very small, and then all these other shapes that are pretty much the same size? It's like, why all this mix matching when building something? Is because they were using materials, they were using stuff that they had available. They're recycling. They took pieces from other constructions, things that other people built, and then they built their own shit with it. So it's just a lot of recycling. So this just makes it easier to build when you just take stuff you found and just build something with it, right? So this is recycled, reuse, whatever you want to call it. So this is reuse architect, and that'll be the end of this video.